All right, so Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Does it suck or slap?
Mothra. Rodan. Ghidorah.
Oh my. They're moving like a pack. They're hunting. They all respond directly to an alpha. We stop this Ghidorah. We stop them all.
Is there another creature that might stand a chance against him?
My God.
First thing we do is we give our first impressions. We both saw it at the same time, but we haven't talked about it. So before we discuss or kind of work through anything, we just say, did we like it or did we not like it? Thumbs up or thumbs down. And we're going to do it at the same time so that we aren't influencing each other, because we care about integrity. Do you want to do a countdown?
Sure.
Okie
1, 2, 3.
Yes. Which is so refreshing.
Yeah.
This movie has a lot of big problems that mainly there are points in the movie, and I haven't had that much time to process it. We saw it like last night, and then this is kind of early in the morning. But there's definite issues with where people are at any given moment. Like, sometimes people are just somewhere, and I don't know how they got there, and then a lot of times I don't know where some major characters are. And then they just show up at another point, and it's like, oh, I guess they're there. I don't know when that happened.
And there are some times where someone will be somewhere, and there's no reason for anyone on one side to know where that person is, but all of a sudden they're just like, this is where that person is because this is happening, and we're like, is that how you deducted that situation? I'm not sure how you did that.
It's very just kind of like, just don't worry about it. Just go
it's like
with
we
it.
have the technology, obviously, to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So.
There's a lot in this movie that's just like, do you really care about that part? It's like, are you really concerned with how this guy got over here right now? Mm-hmm. I don't think it matters in the grand scheme. But, I mean, that does mean it's kind of lazy in some places.
Yeah.
Other issues are, I think, the male lead is a terrible actor. Like, yeah.
His face the whole movie.
Also, there's one point in the movie where he reacts to his daughter being in mortal danger on a TV monitor by doing this. And it's like, that's not the face. That's not the face you do with that. It's like, where did you get that? Mm-hmm. It almost makes me think they were, because he's reacting to something on a monitor. Uh-huh. That makes me think that reaction was for something totally different at a certain point in the shoot. And then what was recorded on the monitor was also at a different point in the shoot and was supposed to be for something else. Maybe. So they're just like, I guess this is close enough. That's me giving him the benefit of the doubt in that scene. There's other scenes where he's in the same room as other people where he's acting like a Disney Channel dad. And it's like, how'd you get in here? Mm-hmm. You just walked on the set? This is clearly a character written for like a young Kurt Russell type, but there is no such actor right now. Like, there's no one who can fill that role really well. So he's really strange. He's really hokey. Whereas other characters are hokey too, but they're owning it. Like the villain, the British guy, like he's absolutely just the hokey, wisecracking, really, really egotistical British dude, and he's making it work.
He does a good job of that. Yeah.
I like his kind of oddly sarcastic reactions to things, despite the fact that he's like an ideological terrorist. Yeah. And everything. Like,
who says terrorists have to be all,
Yeah, I know. That was kind of interesting, because he's almost like doing the merc for hire kind of personality, but with the obsessive ideologue, like backstory. Right. Which... it was fine. It was kind of... I liked how it was kind of unexpected that he acted like that, because they built him up as this madman who's, just driven by this belief system, and then you see him finally interact with people, and it's like, he's kind of funny. Yeah. But yeah, what's important, the movie got extremely well. Or the movie did extremely well. Like, The monsters look fantastic.
Yes.
The fights are awesome, and they're actually scary quite often.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's the earliest of the early Godzilla, which is supposed to be kind of terrifying and scary. And then there's kind of middle Godzilla, which is basically WWE matches, where it's like people in costumes doing these crazy high-flying attacks and stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's been this awkward period in between where we're kind of... Japan's sometimes making movies, and then America is making terrible movies based on Godzilla. This is the first great Godzilla movie made by Americans. And you can tell the director of this one actually cared about Godzilla. And you get to appreciate this redesign that we got from the previous reboot. Because this is technically the same Godzilla. Also, you don't have to have seen that movie at all, which is great because that movie is terrible. Like, I think the 2014 Godzilla, awful movie. Just unwatchable. Like, Aaron Taylor Johnson is in it. I barely remembered that he was in it until I saw, like, some screenshot, and I was like, oh yeah, he was reaction shot the character in that movie. That whole movie, he's just reacting to things for the audience. Basically saying, this is the face you should be making right now.
Reacting to things that the audience literally doesn't get to see.
Right. This would be the face you would make if we were actually showing you what was happening. I'm so glad this director did not care. He did not respect that original vision at all. Because that vision was dumb. Because the camera loves this new Godzilla. Like, oh man. He's actually...
the star, for sure.
Yeah, he actually... kind of looks handsome. Like he's got like a Bruce Wayne square chin thing going, and he's got this kind of scowl and a presence and everything. I also like the more like the longer arms they give this Godzilla, and he's kind of got like a fighting stance that he gets into. That's super cool. Also, King Ghidorah is the best on-screen dragon since Smaug.
Very cool.
The CG was so good, and there's certain ways they frame shots. Like, King Ghidorah straight on is used quite a few times in this movie where the camera's just looking right at Ghidorah, it's right in the middle, and there's that symmetry, and the way that it moves and, like, will stare right at the camera is actually, like, chilling. I was getting chills so many times. Ooh, there's some, like, absolute wallpaper moments in the movie. Like... Usually, mostly during the fights. God, I just thought of three, one after another. One is in the trailer, which is in when Rodan starts, or Rodan, I think it's Rodan. Rodan just starts barrel rolling to kill all of the jet fighters. Like, that's okay. Whoa, wait a second. That was like two fantastic action set pieces after another. Them running from Rodan, and then them running into the storm that Rodan was chasing them into. It was like, this is an awesome action scene, and I have a feeling it's leading right into another awesome action scene. I was right. It was awesome. I don't know what this director did before. I'll have to look it up, but he's good at directing kaiju action. This is the best kaiju movie that's come out of the West since Pacific Rim.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, so there's a scene later on, and I don't want to spoil anything. Or not a scene, but a shot that's straight out of the original 1950s Godzilla that I immediately recognized and was just like, I love this guy who directed this. Like, it's one of my favorite shots from the original, which is when Godzilla starts coming into frame and what is that? It's not a cell tower. It might have been a cell tower in this one. It's those, big iron electric power plant things, like the metal girders and everything, and they just melted.
Oh my god!
Because they were like in the original movie, it was a scale model, so it was just they made it look like metal, even though it was.
It's probably just like.
It was like solder. Yeah.
Okay.
And they just heated it and then sped the film up, and it's just like blech.
Yeah.
Like they basically do that again, and it was a similar. Ooh, it was so cool. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was a good movie, but I was having so much fun that I didn't care, and that's weird. I normally don't have that much fun in movies anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even think I had this much fun in Endgame. I think it's probably just because this movie's almost Godzilla reference the movie. Yeah. Like, the original Godzilla was such an insult to anyone who enjoys kaiju films, it was like, we're not going to show you the actual kaiju fights until the very end, and even then it's going to be really underwhelming. We're just going to show you a bunch of rubble, a bunch of dust, people in military uniforms, Bryan Cranston ranting about some nonsense. Mm-hmm. This movie actually made me care about Ken Watanabe's character, and it made me care about him a lot. Like, he actually became a really good character. There's another new character who's almost like a Wayne Knight-esque character. Like, he's the guy with the horn-rimmed glasses who's just spouting off funny, he's a good comic relief. I don't remember the last time we just had a good comic relief character in a movie.
And all of them were playing off of each other with good banter.
Yeah.
Well, the whole cast. It was like, we've got a whole, like, entourage of fun.
Yeah, it was
it was cool.
It was entertaining, and Son of Cube, Ice Cube's in it. I don't know his real name. I just know that he's Ice Cube's son. Oh. He's in it, and I like how...
Oh, yeah, okay. No.
Yeah, I like how there's a shot where it's like they're looking at some computer, and they have pictures of all their people, and it's like, this is where this person is. We're getting a feed from them. He's doing the Ice Cube snarl, like the... Or whatever, like, that was his face. I was like, this is funny. That's perfect. Uh-huh. I think it was kind of interesting that the daughter, who's played by Eleven, I can never remember her actor, or the actress's name.
I can't either.
But Eleven from Stranger Things, when she's on screen with the dad, it's like, oh, she's such a better actor than he is. And I just thought that was funny. He's just this hokey, silly dad character, and she's this serious, dramatic actress. Mm-hmm. But,
I noticed on the trailers for Godzilla, there was a lot of scenes involving Eleven that...
I don't think are in the movie.
No. It's like... But they made me think that she was just playing the same character again, because it was she was talking on a radio, like, hello, is anyone out there? Like, and I was like...
Oh, yeah. 11. That is not in the movie.
That's not in the movie.
Also, I almost got the feeling that she was going to be, like, the, some kind of psychic connection character, like she was going to be the Hogarth to Godzilla's Iron Giant. Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen. Nope. That family's story was actually kind of a self-contained thing that begins and ends in this movie, which I liked. I actually liked that, and it means that if and when they make the next Godzilla movie that, other than Godzilla versus Kong, which is going to be its own thing, when they make the next Godzilla movie where Godzilla fights one of the new monsters we see, or one of the, 15 previous monsters that they just confirm are in this universe. Mm-hmm. This is seriously, I like how heavily based off of the old movies this is, whereas the original reboot didn't feel like it was connected at all, which was really disappointing. But I like the ways that this is pulling in the previous movies with fantastic and faithful and cool new designs for the old monsters. Mm-hmm. Like, they aren't changing too much like the 90s American Godzilla did. But they still, are doing that super high-budget, ultra-photorealistic, Weta CGI. Weta also did Smaug CGI. It's like you have to kind of redesign them for that new look. Mm-hmm. And make them look, more animalistic. But then... they also have their personalities. Like, King Ghidorah kind of has the back and forth with the three heads.
Yeah.
Like, the heads kind of mess with each other and push each other around. Mm-hmm.
There was one scene, and I don't remember even the context around it, but the way he moved in it was he was kind of snaking down and going forward. That scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, it was
really scary.
Yeah, the good thing about making the monsters move like real animals is that when you make them move like something humans have evolved to react to, to be like, whoa, no.
Yeah.
Like, when you make King Ghidorah look and move like a snake a little bit, that's when it's like, all right, no, I don't like that. I don't want that. And it's something you can't get when it's just a guy in a suit. Yeah. As much as I am so charmed by that and love those original movies.
Also Mothra.
Yeah, Mothra was awesome in this movie.
Yeah.
And had a personality.
I was like, I loved Mothra. She was cute for some reason.
Yeah, Mothra really always has been. Mothra's always been this cute,
beautiful,
likable sidekick. Yeah. Okay. Angelic. There's a thing. This movie did the thing that the American reboot, remake, American version never does. And it includes the mystic stuff. Where it's like, they even say, what's up?
Never mind. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I think Ken Watanabe's character, Dr. Shueza or something? I can't remember his name. He's a good character. I like him. He even talks about there are things that are beyond our understanding. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I also like how King Ghidorah, they just, I guess that's a spoiler. That's a spoiler. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. It's a really well done spoiler.
Yes.
Where it's like, you almost think, okay, so I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but
they added in really good folklore.
Yes.
Type
okay.
Of deals. Where, yeah, it's like, I don't know. It was really good though. The way they like built the whole structure of like the
lore. Backstory.
Yeah.
It was like, I didn't expect that at all. I liked how oh man, there's so much I could go into that I like. There's so much that I like about this movie. And I'm going to watch it again. Like, I watched the first one in theaters, never had any desire to see it ever again. I had so little fun. It was so forgettable, so just nothing. Mm-hmm. And this one is such an astonishing course correct. This is as just, how did you get it so right after getting it so wrong? Mm-hmm. Like, I would compare this to Devil May Cry 2 going to Devil May Cry 3. Like, it's that jarring of a oh, okay, you do know exactly how to do it now. You just basically do the opposite of what you did before. The camera just cannot get enough of Godzilla in this movie, and it's so good because he's such a good actor.
He's such a star.
Yes. Like,
star power, my word.
Oh, I'm not spoiling anything. It's not a spoiler seeing as Kong versus Godzilla is happening soon, so you know Godzilla, in some way or another, does not die in this movie. So there's a point at the end where there's just this panning shot where Godzilla, it's kind of moving with Godzilla's like gaze, and it's so just, ooh, I just was covered in chills.
They gave all of the, what are they called?
Titans.
They gave all the Titans, like, characteristics. They gave them like
they have
personalities.
Yeah. Oh, there's such a good moment with Mothra.
Yes.
Where it's like, I'm not gonna spoil it, but you know where she kind of like is staring after like, I can't spoil it, but I was just like, oh, Mothra, yeah.
And then at the very end with
Rodan,
yeah. And you're just like, oh, you little.
Oh, you little. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Gosh, man. If we let it go on, I'm just gonna go on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
I guess there are. I don't want to spoil all the good because I want you to just go see it. Like, just go see it. There's.
I will say, there was a lot of people that came with their kids, and I saw a couple people leaving just because I think. There's a lot of like.
I did notice that too. There's
a lot of jump scares, but not only that, they're jump scares of like very monstrous looking things. So,
yeah. Then it's honestly very scary at points, and there's a few parts as far as like subject matter that are pitch black dark.
Yeah,
like,
they're very.
There's a scene near the beginning that I was just like, I don't know if this is the direction to go. There's a point near the beginning where the terrorists start to like file out into this facility, and I was glad the camera cuts away, but the thing still happens, and you hear it happening, and it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know if this was the way to do it. I think that could have happened a little more off camera because this is a kaiju movie. This isn't, Lone Survivor or American Sniper. Like, we don't have to have the horrors of war or anything.
Although they did make it a point to be very, like... It does have some political points, I think.
There are some unexpected political points. Well, I guess not as much political, more philosophical.
They're made by the villain... But they're also
here's what I thought was cool.
Seriously.
Yes. This is what I thought was actually interesting and a little above this movie's pay grade, especially a movie that stars this male lead. Well, I was just like, this guy is out of place when we're talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
There's some philosophical stuff that comes in play, and I'm not going to say what it was or say where I land, but I liked how the villain and Ken Watanabe's character actually had a lot of the same beliefs and goals. Mm-hmm. Like, I liked how similar they were, but in that they differed in a few key points that they clarify. Like, and I liked how Ken Watanabe got the most angry at what was happening, because it's just like, don't even pretend like we're on the same side. Like, we're totally different. And then like the male lead also had his own perspective, which was actually in line with. There's a good amount of perspectives, and I like how the villain has a challenging and almost somewhat popular viewpoint. Mm-hmm. And I liked how he was sarcastic and funny. So it wasn't just black and white, you know.
This guy's bad, this guy's good. We're going for the good guys. It's like, this guy's bad, but...
Yeah.
He's doing it for what he thinks is the right reasons. So it's like, you have to...
Yeah, and he's a full character. Mm-hmm. But who you're really going for is just Godzilla. Yeah. No matter what's happening, you're going for Godzilla because...
You're going for the people that are going for Godzilla.
Yes, exactly.
Pretty much.
Godzilla... I'm just remembering so many good scenes. And there's good humor.
Yes.
There's good little bits of... I wish I could remember his name. He's turned out to be a good actor, but Ice Cube's son, that part where he's like, if I had them as my parents, I'd run away too. And then they're like, what did you say? And you'd think he doesn't know why they ask, what did you say? But he's like, if I had you two as my parents, I'd run away too. Yeah. Like, he's like, I'm going to say, it's like, I'm going to repeat it. I mean it. But, yeah. Oof. This movie's good.
Go see the movie. Also, I feel like we should always include this, but there is an after the credit scene.
Yes, there is. For that. Oh, I just got chills again. Watch the after the credit scene. If you like if you're a Godzilla fan, if you watched a lot of the old movies, and I mean, just especially if you're a big fan, like if you watched all of them, like played the video games, like, you know, read the comic books, like if you're a Godzilla, like, fanboy, okay, it's fanboy, this movie is really fun, and it's cool to see an American art style and perspective finally get Godzilla right, because it's like, hey, my team understands it now. Finally. Which is weird, because Godzilla's always had so many fans in the West. Like, that song in the credits is a cover of the Blue Oyster Cult song, Godzilla. And, like, Blue Oyster Cult, they're not Japanese. And they have a song about Godzilla. Yeah, God, I can't wait for Godzilla vs. Kong now. Kong Skull Island, also great.
Also really good, yeah.
I think this is better than Kong Skull Island, which is interesting, because I really liked that movie.
Yeah.
Kong Skull
Island is a good, like...
It's a good pulpy action, like...
But it's not a globe trotter necessarily. They're very set up in one place.
Kong Skull Island is very 80s action film with modern technology and CG and budgets and actors. Yes. Godzilla King of the Monsters it's very modern, but it almost is more of a 60s, like, it feels like a 60s kaiju movie, but with glorious, gorgeous special effects. And there's another shot that's in the trailer where King Ghidorah and Godzilla are kind of standing at one end of the frame, and they're both kind of posturing like they're making themselves look big, like animals would. And, like, Ghidorah has the heads all out, got the wings spread, and, like, Godzilla's, like, standing totally upright and, like, glowing, and it's just like, I can't wait for this fight! It's so good. So, yeah, I don't have anything else I can say. Absolutely go see it. This movie slaps.
Slaps hard. Watch it.
So handsome. Godzilla is so handsome. Just, I want to...
And beefed.
Yes, beef handsome. Cake. It reminds me of, like, Godzilla's like a boxer dog in this movie. Oh, cute. Like, very square looking mouth, very muscular, but very nice. Yes. And it's like,
he's a good boy.
Yes, Godzilla is a very good boy in this movie. If we keep going, we're just gonna keep going.